What turns a woman on more than sex? And I know that sounds crazy, like, isn't that where pleasure is the most? Maybe for you, potentially, a lot for men, but women are a lot different. It is not that act that turns them on the most. In fact, the answer is it is the buildup and anticipation to that. Or I should even say the buildup and anticipation to you explaining your feelings to her, which, by the way, you should never actually do, because then that's the point where a woman actually gets turned off. Everything is about the buildup, the teasing, the tension, not knowing what's going to happen next. And we can all relate to this a little bit. There is excitement in not knowing what's going to happen next. But I know for guys, they're a little bit more impatient. And for women, it's everything. So why does this work? Because a woman's arousal is driven by emotion, imagination, suspense, even more than physical stimulation. Women are more emotional than men. What that means is they get turned on by the spikes of emotions going on inside of their brain. The dopamine spikes when that anticipation is occurring. And oxytocin builds when she feels more emotionally hooked and not rushed. In fact, women fantasize about the buildup. You know how I know? Because read any literotica book. If you don't know what literotica is, this is the type of books and type of movies they based on this that turn women on. And they all have a very similar plot. And a lot of it is the anticipation, and women are getting turned on by the anticipation. So what does that mean? That means that they're not sure in all these storylines whether the guy is going to be with them or not. If he's going to turn from a bad boy to a good boy and be with her. If you've ever read 50 Shades of Grey, that whole book is anticipation. There's never this one big climax. There's all of that crazy stuff going on in the bedroom that builds up the teasing to an actual climax. That's another reason why women love romantic comedies, because that whole thing is one large build-up to, are they finally going to be together? Are the man and woman going to be a couple? And then once that happens, it's kind of not interesting anymore. So your job is to continue the suspense, the mystery, the build-up, the teasing, and I'm going to show you how to do that. There's many different versions of this, and it all depends on where you are in the dating process, because you have it all the way from when you're first with a woman, when you actually first meet her, all the way to on a date, all the way to being in a relationship, and even this happens in marriage. One of the reasons why a lot of marriages fall apart is because the lack of mystery and teasing and anticipation. Everything becomes boring because it becomes predictable. And predictability is one of the things that kills relationships, because when things are predictable, you can't anticipate them. We only anticipate and get curious and excited over things we don't know, meaning we don't want to actually know what happens next, or I should say females get more excited and turned on when they don't know what happens next. So let's talk about teasing. There's many different versions of this. You can be teasing her playfully and verbally when you guys are together, when you first meet her, when you're on a date. This means that you're not showing a lot of overt interest, but instead you're showing subtle interest. Here's an example. She's looking at you, you guys are making great eye contact, and you say to her, "You keep looking at me like that, and we're gonna be in big trouble." That is a nice tease line, and of course there's subtleties and sexual undertones that are happening there. So this verbal teasing doesn't say exactly what's going to happen, but it lends itself to it. Now we can also use teasing with the idea of physical, right? So a lot of guys, we could be ready to go at any moment. Women, they like it slow, and you want to turn them on by not giving them everything that you think they would want. This means that touching needs to be light, meaning when you guys are kissing, don't just completely swallow her face, but do light kissing. Pull away from time to time. When you guys are actually in the bedroom with each other, don't just go for intercourse. Do a lot of foreplay, a lot of touching, a lot of anticipation. This can be even used with dirty talk, because that is going to build up to the actual climax. Teasing is one way, but being mysterious or adding mystery is another. So let's talk about how to do that. Don't overshare. Do not let a woman know everything about you. And I know this gets harder and harder as we continue to actually be in a relationship with a woman, because there's only so much that you can even say or talk about, but there are ways to do this. First of all, it's very easy in the beginning. Simple. Just when you're on these dates, you don't need to tell her about all the things that are going on in your life and your past and all of your future desires and all of the things that you like and the things that you dislike, all the things about you. So you might say, well, what do you talk about? You can talk about those things. That's fine. But have a conversation with her. Bring up opinions and thoughts about things, not necessarily telling her like it's a biography, everything that's going on with you. We subtly have that being released as we date, as we get into relationships. But she should still not really know exactly everything about you at all times. Doesn't make it exciting anymore. Tell half stories. Let her ask you the questions. Don't just tell her things. Let her ask and then you can tell them. How does this work when you get into longer relationships? What happens is you grow and you evolve. Most people are not the same person they were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So if you continue to evolve and you become a new person, a better person, you have more interests, different interests, you look at the world in a different way, then these things can be subtly released as you guys are growing together in a relationship. Surprises. Remember when I said that predictability is unattractive? So the opposite of that is unpredictability, and a way to do that is with surprises. For example, if you have not been a person who's complimenting her all the time, well then great. That means that she's going to get unexpected compliments from you when they happen at infrequent times. Send a text when she wouldn't expect it. Send a text that she wouldn't be knowing that she's going to receive. That could be a picture of something that you're doing or something you're up to at a completely random time. Surprise her with a date. I don't mean showing up at her doorstep unannounced, but I mean seeing if she's spontaneous to do something last minute with you and keeping it a surprise and not telling her exactly what's going on. By the way, this doesn't even have to be crazy. It could be as simple as you guys going to a movie that you know that she would like, or doing a random picnic somewhere if it's nice outside. And next, and this is most important, and before I go into it, if you're feeling like you need help with this, if you're someone who doesn't know how to tap into these elements as easy, or you're just struggling to get more dates, you can always go to tripadvicecoaching.com, book a free call, let's chat and see if we can help you get more dates, build more attraction, all using my TED method. Okay, next, let's talk about non-responsiveness. Now, this whole idea here in this video is all about making sure that you're building anticipation and that you're building mystery and that she doesn't know what's going to happen next. If you are too responsive, always on your phone, ready to text her back, never busy, never with your friends, can hang out with her pretty much at any moment, this doesn't add mystery, does it? Instead, you're very easy to get a hold of. Now, I know this sounds like it could be some game playing, and in a sense it is. Let's be honest, attraction is a game. You have to know how to play, and if you play it right, then you're going to be able to win, meaning get her attracted to you. So no, do not always be super available. No, do not always respond to her text right away. I don't mean that you have to respond days later and completely fall off the face of the earth. That's intense. I just mean be a little bit busier so you're not always ready to pick up the phone. If you implement all these together, then you are going to turn her on more than you ever know. Don't forget to go down to the description below, click on that link, get a free call. I hope this video helped. Subscribe if you're new here, like if it helped you.